Hello friends, it's been a while, hasn't it? If you're wondering why I took such a lengthy break from posting, then be sure to check out one of my live streams on my second channel, link in the description, and ask away. I'm an open book, I'll be happy to tell you. But that's not what we're here to talk about for today. Today, we're kicking off the return of posting on this channel with yet another review of a Fifine microphone. And yes, it is this microphone right here sent to me by my friends at Fifine. It is the Fifine K688 microphone that just so happens to be XLR and USB-C compatible. As you can see right now, I have it hooked up via XLR, so you can get a little bit of a taste of what the higher end sound quality is going to be coming out of this microphone. But of course, I won't leave you high and dry. I know there's people out there who don't have an XLR interface to be able to use the XLR feature. So we will also be testing out the USB feature as well to see what kind of sound quality you'll get from that. Now, I just want to note that the sound you're going to be hearing today coming out of this microphone throughout the entire video is going to be straight out of the box. There's no EQ filter added onto this microphone to make it sound better. I'm not lifting the lows, I'm not lifting the mids or the highs. This is 100% straight out of the box what you can expect from this microphone on a base level. So although I do want to compare the sound quality from the XLR and the USB-C inputs in this microphone, I first want to talk about the aesthetic, the physical features that this microphone has to offer. And one thing I noticed straight out of the box when I lift it out of the foam, it felt extremely sturdy and very professional. You can always tell the difference between a cheap mic and a really well-made mic based on the material that is used to create that microphone. And if you happen to purchase this mic at the end of this video, which I'll leave an Amazon affiliate link down in the description down below for your convenience, then you'll notice as you pull it out of the box, there's a certain weight to it that typically don't get from a cheap plasticky microphone that most affordable microphones have to offer. What I like about this microphone is that it has a nice smooth metal finish, a nice black metal finish, and it just overall looks professional. It's not a super streamery type of microphone where it's riddled with RGB, which in my opinion can be very overdone. It's just super clean, pretty simple, and honestly, I love it. Now, as far as actual practical physical features this microphone has to offer, we have two knobs on the bottom that are for your headset volume, if you want to monitor your own voice while you're talking, and an actual microphone gain volume so you can adjust how loud or quiet you want your mic to be. And then past the knobs, the only other physical feature on this is going to be a mute button, which is touch sensitive, which you can find on the very top of the microphone. Now, one thing you need to know about these knobs and the mute button is that they will only work if you're plugged in via USB. This is mainly because if you're using this with an XLR interface, then your XLR interface will already have all those things integrated into it, which means all the gadgets that are on this microphone pretty much become obsolete. But for those of you who are using this via USB, which we'll get into later, you'll be able to have these things at your advantage right here on the microphone itself, which is super awesome and convenient. All right, now it's time to get into the portion of the video that I'm sure most of you wanted to see, and that is the sound test and sound quality of both the XLR and USB inputs. For the sound test, I'm going to start with the XLR since I already have it plugged in. So we're about to do the sound test right now, but before we actually do, there are a few things you want to double check with the microphone to make sure you're getting the best sound quality possible. Now, the best position for your dynamic microphone to be in when using it is to be not directly in line with your mouth, but about slightly off axis at about 10 degrees, as you can see mine is right here. The next thing you need to make sure of is that you're not too close to your microphone to where you're basically eating it like this, and that you're not too far away so you sound too distant like this. A great range for you to be in is around that 2 to 6 inch range. A little trick that I use to make sure I'm around that 2 to 6 inches is I put my hand in like a hang loose sign. I put my pinky at the tip of the microphone, my thumb on my mouth. That's about 6 inches away from the microphone. That's about the furthest you want to be. And I want to be just a little bit in closer than that. And you found roughly your perfect range. And one last thing is that if you are using this through an XLR port, you want to be careful of how much you adjust the volume through your external sound card. You just want to make sure that your voice isn't coming in too distorted. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's get into the actual official sound test of this microphone. This is the Fifine K688 dynamic microphone. Be sure to like and subscribe if you are enjoying this video so far, and check out my stream on my second channel, link in the description. Also, the Steelers make me want to cry. This is the Fifine K688 by Fifine. If you're liking this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to catch one of my streams, I stream over on my second channel, link down in the description. And like I said, watching the Steelers makes me want to cry. Now that we've recorded the same bit twice with XLR and USB-C, which I currently have in right now, I encourage you to go back and replay that section so you can really hear the difference. I'm about to go listen to it right now and then give you guys my final thoughts on the difference between the two. Then we'll get into the overall sound quality and how good I think it is, the price of the microphone, and who I think it's good for. Alright, so after listening to the two side by side, very clear to me that there's definitely a big difference between the two. Now, this difference may not be as obvious to the untrained ear, but as someone who's been in the audio and video industry for several years now, it's clear to me that the XLR input definitely has the higher sound quality coming out of it. And something that you probably did hear yourself, whether you're trained in the audio industry or not, is that the XLR input definitely has more of that podcast sound to it that a lot of people love from the Sure SM7B, which is a super popular dynamic microphone. Whereas the USB-C definitely isn't as high of a quality. The USB-C almost sounds more full coming straight out of the microphone. Now, this may sound like it's probably the better option of the two if it sounds more full, but when thinking of the two, it's almost like thinking of it in video terms. As a videographer, I love shooting in a very flat profile, typically shooting in something like log. And coming straight out of the camera, it looks super flat, almost like it's black and white. And from someone who doesn't really know video, you probably look at it and think, this looks awful, why would you want to film it like this? And the reason you want to shoot in a profile like this is because it holds so much information that you can customize it to your liking and still bring out a way higher quality looking video than you would if you try to shoot it in a standard profile where all the colors and darks and lights of the image are basically burned into the image straight out of the camera. This is kind of the same line of thinking when you're listening to the flat version of the XLR input on this microphone and the more full sounding version of the USB-C coming out of this microphone. Even though straight out of the box with no EQ or anything put on, using this with the XLR input, it sounds very flat, a lot more bass tones than it did with the USB-C. This allows you to really customize a microphone to your liking and get the best sound quality possible. You can still keep that deeper, bassy sounding voice if that's what you prefer, but still lift the mids and highs to get that more full sounding range in your voice. And it comes out sounding much cleaner and better than a USB-C because you have so much more control over the information it's giving you. And as far as the USB-C is concerned, I still think it sounds very good. Like I said, it comes out sounding full. It almost comes out as a plug and play. So if you're someone who doesn't really like to mess around with the EQ and the sounds of the lows, mids, and highs of your voice, you just want to plug it in, it's ready to record videos, it's ready for streaming, still a great option to use. But if you're someone who still wants to tinker with the sound of your voice and kind of get it sounding as professional as possible, then obviously you still have the XLR input if you have an XLR interface to get that sound quality that you're looking for. Now that we've gone through the actual sound quality of this microphone, let's now talk about my final thoughts, the price point, and who I think this microphone's good for. And as far as my final thoughts go, I think it's a great overall microphone. And you can be rest assured, these opinions are my own. I'm not being paid to say any of this. I just genuinely feel like this is a very solid microphone for its price point. And when people say the phrase for its price point, that almost makes it sound like a negative. But the reason I say for its price point is because this microphone comes in way under a lot of its competitors. You can find this microphone on Amazon. Like I said, I have an affiliate link down below if you want this microphone for $80 right now, which is absolutely mind-blowing given I personally feel its sound quality competes with the likes of Beacon, Elgato, Sure SM7B even, which all those microphones, especially a few of them, are way above the price that this one is here. Now, full disclosure, I do not own those other microphones that I mentioned. I have used some in the past, as well as watched many extensive reviews on all of them. And I can tell you for a fact, this microphone competes with every single one of those. Especially if you are a streamer where your audience 99.999% of the time will not even hear the difference in the microphones. Now, where this microphone might fail in comparison to its competitors is the lack of its own personal software to use with the microphone. If you're using this with an XLR interface, then it's really not that big of a deal, because if you're like me and you have the Go XLR Mini or the Go XLR, you have all the customization you need in that app alone. But if you're someone who can only use this via USB-C because you don't have an XLR interface, don't want to buy one, then from that point forward, you're at the mercy of the internal sound quality of the microphone itself. Now, obviously, if you're a streamer, you can go into OBS and set in some EQ filters and other filters to make it sound a little bit better. But like I said, outside of OBS, you're at the mercy of the sound quality coming straight out of the box, which again, is still pretty good. So this begs the question, who is this microphone good for? And the obvious answer is for those people who are on a budget and want a professional looking and sounding microphone. But I'm gonna go even further and say it's for literally anyone. Even if you're someone who has the budget for something like a Sure SM7B, I would still very much consider this microphone right here. Not only will you be saving a crazy ton of money that you can use on literally anything else in your streaming setup, but you're still getting an amazing sounding microphone as well. So overall, I really like this microphone. It's definitely my favorite microphone out of the few that I have in my setup right now. And as far as my streams and YouTube videos go, this will be my daily driver. If you guys want a tutorial on how to connect this to your Go XLR and bring out the best sound quality possible, be sure to leave it in the comments down below. If you guys have any more questions about this microphone, also leave those in the comments down below. Be sure to answer anyone that I can, and Fifine themselves sometimes pop in to my channel to answer those for you too. And just one more reminder, if this is a microphone that you see yourself buying, I have an Amazon affiliate link down in the description for you to use. Any money I get from that goes straight back into supporting the channel, so a big thank you to anyone who uses that. But that's all I have for this one. It feels very good to be back. Hopefully, I'll catch you next one.